What's up, my Gen X and millennial sports fans? Welcome to Nice TV, where we talk about sports and the business behind it. I'm your big cousin, Nice Simmons. Thank you guys for tuning in. And on today's show, we're going to talk about the knockout that ended Jake Paul's career. Yep, you got that right. This was the night the problem child persona was shattered by a brutal reality of heavyweight power. For years, Jake Paul has defined expectations. I'll give it to him. He's built an empire on the idea that he can conquer professional boxing. But on December 19th, that idea came crashing down and it fell very hard. This wasn't just a loss, it was a public execution of a narrative written with a crushing right hand. So, how did we get here? How did one of boxing most polarizing figures end up on the canvas? And what does this mean for the career that he has built? We're going to get into it. Don't go anywhere. All right, family. And if you are digging real stories that get behind sports, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like so you get more videos like this. And it does help the channel. So let's get into this fight. The stage was set in Miami, a battleground of what many saw as a legitimate test for Jake Paul. Finally, his opponent was not another MMA fighter. It was not old Mike Tyson, though I love him to death. This was an opponent, Anthony Joshua, a former two-time heavyweight champion of the world. This was a colossal leap in competitive. And on one side, you have Paul, who has a respectable 12-1 record against very picky and chosen opponents, you can say. On the other hand, Joshua is a man forged by fire, one of the elite heavyweight champions and just of his division. Undeniably. Just take a look at his tape and it's daunting. Joshua, standing at 6'6", loomed over Jake Paul, who stood at 6'1". But it was more than just height. It was a sheer difference in natural size and a lifetime of professional experience. Did you hear that? Paul tried to frame himself as a modern day fighter, an underdog with the power to shake the world. Yet, the question was hanging in the air. Could money and fame truly prepare someone for the force of a genuine heavyweight elite fight? Well, the fight happened. From opening bell, the fight followed a tense script. And if you have given Paul credit, he showed improvements he's been working on. He used his footwork, trying to stay out of the range of Joshua's thunder. He was active, he was jabbing, he was moving. But, and there's always a but, this wasn't just a fight against a stationary target. You had a real boxer in front of you. Joshua was patient, stalking Paul around the ring like a shark. He cut off the ring with the casual expertise of a man who has spent his entire life in the boxing ring. Each round told a similar story. Paul's flashes of activity were met with the thundering pounding of a boxing glove to his face, draining pressure from him. The size and strength difference was clearly seen. It was obvious as the rounds continued to carry on. All right. And this was really hard for Paul to continue to walk through. He was slowly eroding right before our eyes, replaced by the strained focus of a man realizing he was completely out of his depth. Yep. And you could see it in his face. Towards the end of the sixth round, by this point, the fight had settled into a rhythm. Joshua, having downloaded all the data he needed, started to press and take the advantage. He backed Paul towards the ropes and placed where his movement was going. The sequence was brutal. A jab, distinguished, perfectly timed right hand that hit him with the perfect left flush to the face. The punch snapped Paul's head back, and for the first time, his legs completely betrayed him. He stumbled, and that was it. Joshua, seeing his opponent was hurt, he didn't rush in. He stepped in kindly and delivered the final blow, a devastating right that landed with the absolute finality. Paul collapsed to the canvas. His aura was vanishing the moment he hit the floor. There was no controversy, no 10 count needed. It was clean, an undeniable knockout. The referee waved off the fight immediately, signaling the end of the fight for the ambitious chapter in Jake Paul's boxing journey. In the wake of the knockout, however, the narrative shifted a little bit. This wasn't just a story about a loss. It was a painful reality check for Jake Paul. Reports also quickly came out confirming the devastating price of the knockout. Paul has suffered a double broken jaw. He later underwent surgery, having a titanium plate fitted and some teeth removed. This fight moved Paul's record to 12-2. But the numbers hardly tell the story, right? This was a level of sport that Jake Paul just was not ready for. The gap between a massive commercial fighter and a former undeniable world champion in his prime showed why he walked away as the winner. What do you guys think? Was this a necessary reality check for Jake Paul or a step too far for Jake Paul? Drop your comments below. I want to hear from you. And if you want more deep dives like this that talk about boxing or football, make sure you guys subscribe. The knockout from Anthony Joshua didn't just end Jake Paul's career. It already vowed to return him to the cruiserweight division. All right. We'll see if that happens. All right. But what do you guys think about this fight? Should Jake Paul come back and continue this fantasy of trying to take over a boxer? Or if he doesn't have the sport rigged, can he really win at all? I want to hear from you guys. Until the next time, family, peace.